Welcome, welcome. Welcome, guys. It's your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution podcast. The revolution will not be televised. Um, this is the Digital Revolution podcast, but I'm totally against CBDCs, guys. Um, by no means because I named this podcast the Digital Revolution podcast. Am I, referencing or am I advocating for anything digital? Well, right now, if you're watching this, you're probably watching it on a computer screen. And so I'm kind of referencing digitization in that way. Um, yeah, so I'm actually do not like computers per se, and yet they want to chip us and put the computers inside of our brains. I mean, you see how computers malfunction. Would you really want that in your brain? Anyways, I digress. Again, it's your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution podcast, and the revolution will not be televised. However, the revolution is happening whether we like it or not. And guys, there's so many things to cover. I don't even know where to begin. Hopefully, I can get through this podcast in one piece. Guys, if you like the information that I'm sharing on here, please like and subscribe. I'm trying my best to, you know, brush up on my communication skills. It's not as easy as it seems, but nonetheless, there is a lot to cover, and I hope everybody is doing well out there. And before I start this podcast, and before we go into take a look at the markets, I just wanted to say a few things. Hold on, let me see if I can share my screen. So yeah, let's see. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let me just clean it up here. Hopefully you guys can see this. Again, it's your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution podcast, guys. Like I was saying at the opening, no way am I advocating for any kind of digitization. It's just simply, the communication through the digitization. I don't agree with CBDCs. I don't like computers. I think the phones are spying on us. The NSA is spying on us. The government is spying on us. Guys, have you ever noticed if you are with your friends or your family and then you are having a conversation and then maybe like an hour later, you will notice that YouTube or whatever platform you're on will start generating advertisements. Guys, it's clear that it's listening to you. I didn't want to kind of go down this kind of rabbit hole about the NSA and not even necessarily the NSA, but it's just random people listening in on your conversations. It could be really anybody. It could be your next door neighbors, guys. Listening on to your conversations. There is all kind of technologies, but nothing that I'm saying on this podcast other people have not said, particularly European people, let's say white people. And when I say white people, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be, Black Lives Matter at all. I'm not, guys, my grandmother is white. Okay. I have a mixed race family. Half of my family is white. The other half is Black. My mom is mulatto. My grandmother is white. My grandfather is Black. My father is Native American and Black. However, I digress. um, but yeah, have you guys ever noticed? Please make a comment. If you have ever noticed that you have a conversation and then all of a sudden you will notice that, the computer or whatever platform you're on will start to generate advertisements for what you just talked about. So let's say, for instance, you're talking about, hair products, hair care products with your friends, or you're just talking about hair care products. Next thing you know, it will start to generate an ad, but you never typed it in. You never did a Google search. You never, looked on your phone for it. It's just automatically the algorithms, if you will, generate a commercial for you. So that's monetization at its finest. That's sort of a form of, I don't even know if you can call that capitalism, but yeah, sure, call it capitalism. But I just think that is just freaky and freakonomics, guys. But yeah, this is your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution podcast. Hopefully, I'm getting this message out there and you guys can hear me loud and clear. Let me see if I can make my screen brighter. And yeah, so we were just talking about before we start a little bit of the news and what's going on in the news. Yeah, guys, I got a lot of stuff. Hopefully, you can see the screen that I'm sharing here. But I just think that's freaky and weird. Now, guys, another thing that I find freaky about the algorithms, uh, basically spying on us and, generating all kind of commercials trying to monetize off of us, even though the money is collapsing. And we'll get more into, the de-dollarization and the destabilization of the US currency and the implications that that has. But I find it weird with the algorithms. Like, let's say it's one thing if I'm with a friend, and then we're talking about something, and all of a sudden, an hour later or 2 hours later, or maybe the next day, the computer algorithms will start generating ads for that. So let's say it's shampoo or skincare, or certain cosmetics products, or maybe insurance. You're talking about insurance, then all of a sudden, or you talk about cars, and all of a sudden you're starting to get advertisements for cars. Not only are they listening in on you, but your credit card and your debit card purchases, you will notice that, let's say you buy alcohol, right? But you didn't Google it, you didn't type it in, you didn't do any of that. But, all of a sudden you will start to see advertisement for alcohol beverages. Guys, I just think that is like freaky and fucking weird. And even if you turn off the settings in your phone, guys, these phones are, I think a lot of us will do away with them, as we see the collapse unfold. Again, not that I necessarily subscribe to the tribulation period. However, it seems as though we're going into a tribulation period in terms of what the book of Revelation is talking about. And again, guys, I'm not religious by any means. I'm spiritual. I do believe in the one true living God. But here, let me come back here. I do believe in the one true living God. Um, However, I don't necessarily subscribe to any kind of religion, although I study every religion. And guys, that's the thing about me, is that I embrace every religion, from Judaism to Buddhism, to Christianity, to Catholicism, and I even respect people that don't believe in God, because to me, that is a belief. To me, even believers have had atheistic thoughts. To me, even the atheists, in a weird way, they're like true believers, because when you're an atheist, you're constantly contemplating God in a way. You're right. You're constantly doubting that there is a God, but still God is in your thoughts. God is on your mind. And even if you don't believe in God necessarily, I don't know, maybe you believe in the collective, but that's neither here nor there. But I was just making a point on, the capitalism and the technocracy of capitalism, and how, our phones are spying on us, and it's freaking, it's weird. I was giving the example, guys, of, like, let's say you go and buy some alcohol, or you go and buy some cosmetics products, like for my lady listeners out there. Again, I am a licensed realtor, and I have experience and I'm a licensed esthetician. So I help people with their skin, and I help people with their homes, or to sell or buy their homes. Um, and I've been doing research on the federal government for the last, 6 years, something like that. But again, I was talking about the freaky things with the, like, okay, let's say for instance you go and buy something, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see an ad being generated. The algorithm started to generate an ad on whatever platform you're on. But then you also have, like, let's say you meet a stranger, right? And you are talking to a stranger, then all of a sudden you will start getting ads for the stranger. So I don't know, in a weird way, like, let's say for instance, I don't even know how to explain this, but I would say, okay, here's how I'll explain it, guys. Pay attention to those ads. Um, are the ads predictive programming? Are the ads subliminal messaging? Now, I'm not opposed to making money off of an advertisement, but, at least let it be something useful. I think probably 95% of the ads out there, you guys are not buying it. Like, if it's going to be an ad, at least let it be something useful that I'm going to use. But I'm not necessarily opposed to making money off of ads at the same time. But I think that is weird and freaky, that, let's say, you start all of a sudden getting ads for, like, cancer. I think that's really weird. Like, maybe for months and months and years, you don't ever get anything. Yeah, they do have a lot of ads for, like, donating for or sponsoring for people that have cancer or whatever. But let's just say that you start getting these like random ads. I don't know, is the algorithm trying to tell you something? Or let's say you meet a stranger and all of a sudden you talk to the stranger, and then all of a sudden the ads start generating an algorithm that is that you're not used to. Anyways, guys, this is a Digital Revolution podcast, and the revolution will not be televised, guys. Uh, all are welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. Like Chris Rock said, if you don't if you hate somebody, you don't like somebody, certainly they will end up in your family, guys. I'm a person that I want to see all races, all colors. I want to see Asian. I want to see white. I want to see Germanic. I want to see African. I want to see everything. I want to see Indonesian. I want to see people of the world. Guys, there is no such thing as how did my professor say, my philosophy, but we're only the human race. There is no race. There's only the human race. But guys, I digress. Please like and subscribe if you like the information that I'm kicking to you. Guys, it's your boy, Jay. You already know what time it is. Let's share some news and views. But yeah, guys, let me get right into it, guys. Okay, yeah, here we go. Guys, I wanted to start off this podcast with saying, if you guys can see what I'm sharing here, I want to start off this podcast by saying, guys, we got to support each other. Um, right now, I'm going through some very difficult times myself. Don't think that the red button isn't being pushed. I haven't hit the red button myself, but I know plenty of people that are hitting the red button. But don't think that that the crisis is not going to come to your door, or that it hasn't come to your family's door. Guys, I wanted to start this podcast off by saying that we all need to try to support each other. Um, we all need to be, accepting, or somewhat of accepting of people's differences, even if they are extreme. We don't understand them. I don't necessarily understand why people are Nazis, or why people are extremists, or why, somebody would get up one day and want to kill everybody and shoot up a school. I don't necessarily subscribe to that, or I don't believe in killing and violence. But when it comes to things like gay and straight, black and white, and this division, guys, we need to support each other. We need to try. Um, Guys, I just wanted to say this before I started the whole podcast. Sometimes what we learn in psychoanalytics and psychotherapy, and what we learn in psychology, is that what motivates people is that they want to be heard, they want to be understood. So a lot of people in your life, they simply just want to be heard. They simply want to be acknowledged. And a lot of people don't feel as though that they are being acknowledged, that their life on this planet Earth is meaningless, guys. And guys, again, I just pray for everybody. I'm praying for this world. I'm praying for this country. And I hope to God that we'll be able to get through this, be unscathed, and hopefully the worst that it could be is like it was in the 70s, like Charles Nenner say, that this shit is just like when it was in the 70s, and that we might have high inflation. We might end up getting out of the Federal Reserve dollars, and then, and de-dollarizing, and having the US Treasury issue money and back it by gold. That might be something. Yeah, we talk about solutions to the problems. But again, we'll deal with the solutions, but right now, let me just show you some of the things that we have in place. So yes, support each other. Try. There's a Smashing Pumpkins songs. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Smashing Pumpkins. If you are, put it in the comments there. There's a song by Smashing Pumpkins called Try to Hold On. Try to hold on. That's not exactly the lyrics, but it's like try to hold on to love. I know it's hard, guys. What really saddens me is the people that are breaking up in their relationships and their marriages. Guys, love is the most sacred thing on planet Earth. Marriage is considered a sanctuary. Marriage is considered, it's considered sacred. And well, what's going on in this world is that that the darkness and that the evil that is in the world, it wants to the darkness wants to eat that. It wants to eat that sanctity. And if you guys are married, you totally understand. Like, if somebody gets married, you totally look at them different. Well, I hope you would. I know me. If I see a woman that is married, I totally, not that I treat any other woman differently, but you kind of like act a little bit differently, because marriage, we have these traditions that marriage is sacred. You don't necessarily have to have a ring on your finger for it to be sacred either. I mean, it helps. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. I hope my human family is doing well. We got to try to support each other. But guys, we got credit markets collapsing. We got central banks no longer able to extend credit and having these major implications, the major implications of the banking system no longer able to extend credits. Guys, this is a major trend. This is a major theme that banks no longer able to extend credit because there is $320 trillion worth of debt. There's also $2 quadrillion worth of derivative debt. JP Morgan, JP Morgan Chase is one of the most elitist banks, top banks, number one bank, numero uno bank. And it has the largest exposure to these derivative debt. However, as the debt implodes and just people defaulting, remember, Egon von Greer said for the next 10 years, we'll be dealing with major defaults. How that looks, we're finding out now. But as the banks and as governments are no longer able to service that debt, they're no longer able to extend credit. Guys, we have two interviews that we're going to be reviewing with Lynette Zang, and we'll do Peter Schiff later for another day. But we got the heavyweights today, guys. I got the meat and potatoes for you guys. I hope you guys are ready, guys. We got the SWIFT banking system. Other countries are getting into their own system. These other countries are de-dollarizing. And guys, that is not fucking good. That is not good. That has huge major implications. Yeah, I'm just quoting here, man imposing their own prices versus Mother Nature. Bill Holter has stated that with the reset, we're going to see a man-made collapse of debt imploding, and then we're also going to see Mother Nature. And I shudder to think what that looks like. It looks like something in the book of Revelation. It's biblical. You don't necessarily have to believe in the Bible, but all these weird things are adding up, all these prophecies. Nobody knows exactly for sure. I was saying that nobody can see into the future, but I would have to retrace that. And I do believe that we can see into the future. And I do believe that we can see into the future. I have seen into the future. If you ever have dreamed something and then it happened in real life, what the hell you call that? I just think that that is just crazy. Yeah, you can dream something. You can have a dream that seems so real, and you can dream something and then it actually happens in real life. So yeah, the future can be predicted. I do believe that there are psychics. Now, a lot of them are bullshitting. A lot of them are bullshit. But there are some psychics that are that will tell you things that will blow your minds, and they are accurate, almost like a 90% accuracy rate for some of these psychics, statistically speaking. Well, they'll say, hey, you're going to be da-da-da-da-da, and you'll be like, no fucking way. And then next thing you know, it happens. And I think that's freaky. And I think that maybe in a way, collectively, the Bible is sort of like the pieces of the collective memory of our history pieced together. But again, it's very controversial because nobody knows exactly who wrote the Bible. And a lot of the Bible was faked up. It's man-made, even though Christians believe that it was inspired by the word of God and that it is infallible and that it is the word of God. It was inspired by the word of God. However, guys, historically speaking, they put a lot of their own 2 cents into there. And I think that there are verses in the Bible where it says that you don't necessarily need the Bible to have communion with God. You don't necessarily need a man-made creation in order to have a dialogue with God. And so I'm more talking about that relationship, that spirituality. But getting back to what we were saying here. So yeah, so man imposing their own prices versus Mother Nature. We have here, guys, bear with me here. Yeah, guys, we got major investors going long on gold, guy. Charles Naylor said it would be 6-year bull run on gold. And guys, Charles said that. Charles Naylor said that. If you're familiar with the work of Charles Naylor, he's another cyclist, goes with the cycle. Charles Naylor said that. Charles Naylor said that, yeah, he said that in like 2021. And now we're starting to see major institutions getting into gold. We learned from the work of Egon von Greer that only, what did Egon say? Only 0.5% of financial institutions are invested into gold. But it's been more so retail investors that have been buying up the gold. But as we see more and more people buy into gold, as we've shown here, that the price of gold has been holding, and we're going to show that chart. As a matter of fact, let's just get right to the chart here. Oh, I have a gold chart here. So yeah, hopefully you guys can see this. Please like and subscribe if you like some of the information that I'm kicking to you. It's your boy Jay, and guys, you already know what it is. Okay, so yeah, here on a daily chart here, yeah, like I was saying, guys, the price is being supported above that 1900 level, that $1,951.06 level. Guys, gold doesn't sleep. As you can see here, it's still an open market for gold. So even when you're sleeping, they're still trading in gold. However, on this gold chart here, hopefully you guys can see this. Hopefully, okay, so let me just spread it out a little bit more. But anyway, so yeah, it's looking like on a daily it's overbought. But guys, look at here. So it's being held above this, and it's been held for a minute. I mean, it's been held since 17th of March. So that's been a few days that we're showing support above this $1,900 level. And guys, it went to $2,000 an ounce of gold. But however, on the daily, okay, so check this out, guys. So on its single span B and single span A here on this cloud, the cloud is kind of thinning here. And so we have here, it's pointing straight, and that's not good. That means that can expect to see a retracement, at least on the daily. And then its Cajun Center is pointing straight and its Tinkin Center is pointing straight. We have the lagging indicator here kind of hovering above the price. So as we get into the lower time frames here, yeah, guys, buyer beware. Check this out. Here we have the single span B and single span A. Single span A is pointing up just a tiny little bit, and we are starting to get some thickness on the higher time frames. However, we're gonna start to see the price retrace back to perhaps this $1,990 level. We could see it come down to there before it goes back up. However, I tend to think, guys, that with this price of gold, that before it goes sky high, it's gonna fall with the whole entire market. So I'm expecting, and I'm not saying this is financial advice, guys. Don't take this advice, but I'm expecting to see the price of gold, well, at least the derivation price of gold, because the price that you see on the screen here, price that you see on the screen here is actually contracts. It's derivative, is a derivation of the actual underlying asset, which is the gold. So you have the the matrix form of it in the system on the stock market, and then you have the actual physical gold and physical delivery of gold and the premiums that you pay on the gold. It's two separate things, guys. But anyways, again, it's your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution Podcast. Please like and subscribe if you like this information that I'm taking it to you. Guys, you already know what it is. And let's get right to it. So yeah, on the daily, we're seeing that we're looking for a retracement. Here, we can expect for the price to come down here to this $1,990 level before it goes back up. Now, it could very well go up. It could very well go up. Let's go on the lower time frames. So yeah, guys, it's looking like, yeah, so okay, so yeah, so on the hour chart, on the lower time frames, we are definitely starting to see the price of it consolidate. Now it could go up, but Ichimoku system here, Ichimoku trader system is saying that buyer beware, be careful. Again, only the most sophisticated traders can trade this. And guys, I'm not sophisticated enough to trade this. Although I wish I was, but you got to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And only the real sophisticated traders can trade this market, guys. Ichimoku is saying that the price of gold is consolidating, so we're expected to see a retracement. But overall, I think sometime in June we might see the stock market collapse completely. We might see well, maybe not completely, but maybe 40-50% before 2027, where we see a major collapse. So this is going to be a long, drawn out process. It's like how a lot of these economists say that the Fed is basically going to pump liquidity into the markets. They're going to QE, and it's sort of like a person that's dying, that's on the last deathbed, and they're still getting life support, and it's going to be long and drawn out and painful, guys. It's going to be painful. But that's not to say that, you know, getting out of all of this, that that you can have fun with your friends and your family and be with your friends and your family, if that makes sense. But anyways, we're looking to see that the price of gold is going to, yeah, a lot of people don't FOMO into this. I mean, even I wanted to FOMO into this when I saw this, but I think that we should wait for this to really come down, because again, when the stock market falls. No, I don't do those charts. But yeah, guys, when right now it looks like there's a lot of uncorrelation going on, but when the stock market falls, when the stocks crash, they all start to correlate. They all go down, including the price of gold. But guys, what you're seeing here is just derivatives. These are all derivations. This is only to get a capital gains on your fiat, on your paper money. I think Ray Dalio just said something to the effect that cash is not trash, but now cash is looking a little bit more sexy. But yeah, so cash for the short term. But after holding cash for the short term, I think Jim Ricker said it's something like 30% holding on cash. Guys, Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett is sitting on $130 billion worth of cash. Um, and I'm getting that from Jim Ricker. That's what Jim Ricker said, and I believe it. Because once the market crashes, because guys, once the market crashes, where we can see the Dow Jones go to like 8,000, 5,000, the S&P go to like, another 50%, but that's not going to be the only crash. Already stocks have crashed that much. I mean, we looked at ARK Investment with Kathy Wood, and how can anybody listen to her? Again, guys, some of these people, these what do you say? These economists and these big institutional investors, guys. She was talking the shit out of her book, guys. I showed you the ARK Investment. We'll get back to gold in a little bit, but I showed you how far ARK went down, guys. Look at Kathy Woods was talking her shit, but guys, this ETF right here, it don't look like it's coming back anytime soon, guys. We got the motherfucking single span on the monthly. We got the single span pointing down, and we got the single span B pointing flat. So down and flat. And then we have the Cajun Sen and we have the Tinkin Sen on the monthly still pointing down. Guys, you can expect to see this come down even more. You can expect to see this possibly, and guys, it's not financial advice, but all the valuation of this. I mean, look at what happened with Credit Suisse, guys. The fucking shareholders were fucking mad as fuck, dude. I mean, like crazy. And could you blame them for being mad? It looked like there was another sell-off. It's today. Oh, this is April. Look at that. I mean, that's like a mass sell-off right there. Guys, Credit Suisse, they lost all their valuation. There is no more. You might, I mean, you could look at it as that it's cheap, but when will this ever go up? Guys, you get into the market, when you read these charts, you get into the market when it's starting to show support. But some investors don't have stop losses. But anyway, so yeah, as you see here, gold is looking like a beauty, baby. It's looking like a beauty. She's holding. You got this cup and handle right here. Oh, guys, check this out. Check out on the monthly, guys. This is fucking major. This is a huge indicator, guys. On the monthly, really on the monthly, you would say that like the 401ks go according to these monthly charts because these are long-term investments. But guys, on the monthly, we have the cloud kind of pointing up. We have these levels of resistance here, these two levels of resistance here. Let's see where that was. Yeah, that was at the 2000 mark. 2000 mark. It just boom, boom. It's like a scene like bah, bah, bah. And guys, if we show support here, baby, baby, guys, this chart is looking like a beauty. But let's see here. So, and guys, oh my God, this is chart. This gold pattern. Look at that cup and handle. This gold chart on the monthly. This shit is starting to add up, guys. On the monthly, guys, we're starting to see that the indicators are about to cross on the monthly, which is bullish for stocks. Guys, forgive me sometimes if I'm just like speaking so fast and I just accidentally say bullish or bearish, or I say that this is high or low or whatever. But guys, just follow, try to follow what I'm saying. On the weekly, yeah, we have very weak support here on the weekly. However, the indicators are going up. This is very, very bullish for gold. Just right now, for the short term, we might see a little bit of a retracement, but I think gold, I think very well that, and again, and I think Charles Nana was hitting on the head here, where that we could see gold come down to this like 6,000 level right here. Like it could test the 6,000 level, or it could very well test these levels here. Once we get once we get the major crash, that would be from this high. That would be, yeah, that would be a 20% crash. That sounds about right. So we can see it test those levels again, but that's going to shake out a lot of people. Like Charles Nanner said, that's going to shake out a lot of people. But guys, when you buy physical gold, you're in it for the long run. You know, you're holding it for like at least 5-10 years to let it appreciate. But you don't buy gold to try to make money off of it. And this is precisely why a lot of these hedge funds and these major institutional investors are not into it, because there's no cash flow. Guys, banks, hedge funds, guys, they like fucking money. They like the moolah shmoolah. They like that cash money, guys. Could you blame them? Could you blame them? But anyway, so I digress. But yeah, so on the daily, we're looking at for gold. On the daily, we can expect to see a tiny bit of retracement, possibly back to this level here, the 1,916 level. Yeah, but on the but guys, buyer beware. Like, definitely, we're going to see a retracement right here, as the lagging indicator is touching the price. Guys, let's look at Bitcoin. Again, Tesla. Let's look at Bitcoin. And guys, I explained on this podcast before. Hopefully, I'm still recording. Guys, if you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you see any value in this, and please comment. And if you have any questions, put a comment in there, and I'll answer any question that I have. I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but I am a licensed realtor. I am a licensed esthetician. So if you have any questions about real estate, if you have any questions about these markets, if you have any questions about any of the conspiracy theories that I have, or if you just want to share whatever you're going through, put it down there in the comments and let's have a conversation. This is a community that everybody is welcome. But yeah, so. Okay, so guys, look at the Bitcoin. Can I get a chart, please? Yeah, so Bitcoin is still on the monthly. It's still in bearish territory, but we're getting a little pump here. Perhaps as we see the instability in the markets, the next asset classes that we could see, and I'm not saying that I know exactly what the major asset classes could be. We could be, for all we know, it just be food. But the next asset classes are going to be gold, silver, and it's going to be gold, silver, and Bitcoin, guys. Gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Here on this chart, we're still in bearish territory, sorry. We're in bearish territory, and we have a TK cross here, which means that the uptrend is down. On the weekly, it is still in the cloud, and when it's in the cloud, that means that it's stay away, because the price is consolidating. There's various areas where it can consolidate, and it's very volatile when it's in the cloud, guys, when it's in the Kumu cloud. But here on a daily chart, and this is probably, something that swing traders are swinging, but I know a lot of people that were in Bitcoin. Full disclosure, I'm not in Bitcoin, although who knows, in the future, this very well may be what is considered money. And on the last podcast, I was explaining that as that 1% of the 1%, as that less than 300 people controlling the planet through the central banks, and maybe a few other people as well, maybe throw in Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, but there's people that control them, guys, that are controlling them. They want to get off planet Earth, right? We talk about the diversification of planet Earth, looking at this like a hedge fund would look at it. Why have all your eggs in one basket? Why have all your wealth just on this planet, guys? you want to diversify. So it only makes sense. Even Stephen Hawking, the great Stephen Hawking, said that we need to get off the planet. So guys, on my last podcast, I says all the money that they're extrapolating, all the collateralization of the future earning from the taxes, all of that they're extracting from, bankrupting and creating debt slaves for many, 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 many generations. All that wealth is going into the privatization of space and building underground bunkers, guys. That is where the trade is. That is where the money is. But guys, we're not in the elite. So, but this is precisely why they're doing a lot of the stuff that they're doing, at least that they're doing. That's what I believe. But here, this Bitcoin, this could be the money that they use once they're able to get off the planet. They can't take all the gold with them. They can't take, silver with them. It's just too much. It weighs too much. Hopefully, in another podcast, I'll get into the conversation of graphene, nanoparticles. These particles are the hardest materials on planet Earth. They are the hardest materials on planet Earth. But anyway, so Bitcoin looks like it's about to be consolidating. We have a little bit of thickness in the cloud here, but it's looking like, I mean, yeah, it's saying that this is looking kind of bullish. Let's look in the lower time frames. Okay, yeah. So guys, for me, and every trader is different, always do your own research. I'm not trying to sell you on this Ichimoku, and I'm not trying to sell you anything. But guys, when the indicators and because remember, you want to follow the trend. The trend is your friend to the end. And just because I'm not in these markets doesn't mean I can't, jump in these markets if I see something, if I see a bargain, if I see if I see a chart that has strong uptrend. But once the charts start contradicting themselves, and I learned this is something that I just learned from just doing it, that once all the time frames start to line up and you're starting to show strong support, maybe that's when you want to get in it. But right now, Bitcoin in the lower time frames is consolidating. And yeah, guys, beware, be very wary of this Bitcoin. It's looking like it's going through a lot of volatility. Guys, the VIX, guys, this shit is no longer works. I don't know why people even think that this works. There were times when I saw that the market was down and the VIX was down, or there was times when I saw that the market was up and the VIX was up. It just, there is no correlation anymore. The market is, remember, the market is heavily manipulated. You got to know what to look for. But I don't follow the VIX anymore. I mean, probably Amazon is a better indicator of volatility in the market. But anyways, but yeah, so let's see what else we could find. Yeah, we already know what's going on with those bonds. Yeah, let's check the S&P 500 before we move on to the next topic. Yeah, so for the S&P 500, guys, the S&P 500 is like it's like a litmus test for the economy. Just looking at it at a glance can tell you, again, it's manipulated, but think about it like this. Even though the stock market is heavily manipulated and all these prices are smoke and mirrors, to some extent, the market is like a dragon. It's like, it's like a dragon. It's like this fire fucking blowing dragon. Now, some of these hedge funds, they got a lasso around that dragon and they're able to control that dragon. But then you have retail investors that are also kind of influencing it. Right now, the Fed is influencing it, but at some point, they can't necessarily control it 100%. Is what I want to say. But the S&P 500 is an indication of the overall health of the market. And if we just pull back on it right now, and this is a chart for April 5th, 2023, guys. Yeah, so it's looking like it is that the market is in consolidation on the monthly, which to me means get the fuck out. On the weekly, is get the fuck out. On the daily, it looks like it's going to be retracing itself, showing very weak support. But on the higher time frames, we're starting to get now. Some traders, what they'll do is they will trade on the hour or the 1 hour, but they'll get in on the 5 minute. That is my type of trade. So whatever hour you get in the market on is the hour you should trade on. But to get your stop losses and your entry points a little bit tighter, you can trade in the lower time frames. Maybe you trade in the 5 minute time frame. But I'll maybe show you guys how to do that later. But again, full disclosure, I'm not in these markets right now because, guys, I'm seeing a lot of contradictions in the market. I'm not seeing any strong uptrends. And let's see here, but that's not to say that people are not making money hand over fist, because of course there's day traders that's making money hand over fist. And this looks like the cloud is getting thick. So possibly, yeah. Okay, so guys, this is get the fuck out on the S&P 500. This is, you see here, the lagging indicator is touching the price. Also, too, we have a golden cross here. We got the Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen crossing, which means that the uptrend is over. And we have the single span B pointing this way. We have the single span A pointing up. So the uptrend is over. So buyer beware. There's going to be some volatility. If you don't know how to trade volatility, then stay away. Okay, I got a new world map here. Not using the map right now, but hopefully you guys can see this. Yeah. So major investors going long on gold. Charles Nader said it would be 6-year bull run. It's manipulation both ways. They own gold. Yeah. What I was trying to say with this little segment right here is that the central banks own gold, even though they don't want us to own gold. Guys, this is what I really wanted to get at right now. And I don't know if I'll have complete time, but Bill Holter is saying governments could confiscate gold, guys. They could be that desperate. They could be that desperate, like a dope fiend, because the debt is imploding. They're no longer able to service their debt. The other countries are de-dollarizing. And if you start hearing that the government is going to confiscate gold, that's because they don't have no gold. If they confiscate gold, guys, by no means am I saying going out there rioting. I'm not trying to incite any riots, guys. Let's just be clear. If anything, we need to be educated and have knowledge. Knowledge is power, guys. But listen, Bill Holter, and we're going to get to Bill Holter. Oh, I'm so excited about Bill Holter, guys. Okay, Bill Holter is saying governments could confiscate gold. And I put here, damn, foreign sovereigns could potentially be taken. Okay, guys, you know how I get down. Example, governments could have fines up to $100,000 and 10 years in prison. And so Bill Holter, which we're going to get to in a little bit, I'm going to just let Bill Holter explain it himself. Guys, this is the Digital Revolution podcast. If you like what I have to offer, please like and subscribe. By no means is this financial advice. Yeah. Oh, Trump. Now, guys, I was explaining to you that the reason why a lot of people fuck with Trump is because, or why they were supporting him, is because he wanted to send the troops home. He wanted to get us out of these proxy wars, and he had really good negotiating skills. He's a businessman at the end of the day. But Trump with the vax is his supporters don't like that. And I don't know what I can and cannot say on this podcast, but let's just call it the jab slab. Let's just say the jab, the jab. A lot of people not fucking with him with that, and a lot of smart intellectual people in the know are very critical of Trump with his relationships with the banks. Some people say that he's a functionary and he allows for certain things to happen within the banking sector, and so maybe we will explore the criticisms of Trump. But his core base, they voted for him because he wanted to send the troops home, and in that, I think Trump is very sincere, and most likely, guys. Again, the presidential candidates, I think, are going to be Robert F. Kennedy Jr., right? Donald Trump and DeSantis. But the people in Florida are really liking DeSantis from what I hear. They're liking his policies. I don't know exactly, so I can't really talk too much about DeSantis. But guys, let's get into what we have cooked up today. I don't know if I'll be able to get to Lynette, but let's just get straight to Bill Holter. Let's just get straight to Bill Holter. Okay, guys, like and subscribe. I'm not gonna be playing the full interview, but maybe let's just hear what Auntie Lynette has to say. Okay, she's like your auntie schooling you. Okay, let's see what she has to say.
Plus, if they were willing to spend $180 trillion in that compression, that if they're not having to put back reserves or pay special fees, what that's telling you is they saved more than $180 trillion in fees. And that really is an indication of the part of the iceberg that we can't see, that the public can't see. And that means that it's got to be in the many quadrillions, which that implosion will take down everything. I mean, there's no way that that can be bailed out, bailed in, bailed sideways.
Yeah. Like Auntie Lynette has, sorry, I don't mean to call her auntie, but she is like an auntie. She's my spiritual godmommy for economics. She's everybody's spiritual godmother for economics. But yeah, the $2 quadrillion of derivative debt. Remember, guys, the derivatives are just fucking contracts. Let's say that this pen is the actual, let's say this pen is the actual asset. The derivative would be the contracts on that actual asset, and the banks are able to trade multiples of that actual underlying asset. So you only got one pen, but you got like several contracts on that pen. So the banks are able to trade that and use it as fake money, as synthetic liquidity, as Egon von Beers has educated us, and they're able to trade it amongst themselves. However, eventually it's a debt. Everything is a debt. Everything in these financial markets is either credit or a debt, or it's gold and silver, guys. But let's see what Lynette has to say.
They can't create enough money, new money, to paper it over. That's the very, very end. And probably, I mean, where Zoltan said this is much worse than 1971.
Guys, this is I think this is this is Daniela Cambone show. Guys, she's amazing. You probably know a lot about her already, but she's also amazing information on here.
1971, we still had like 28% purchasing power left. Now we have none.
Well, let me throw something crazy to you. Do they want that implosion of the system?
Yes.
To get us to the reset?
Yes. Because there's nothing left in the system. There's officially no purchasing power left in the currencies. It's all just on confidence. That's it. And only public confidence, because the banks don't have confidence in each other. The central banks don't have confidence in each other. And Wall Street to the banks don't have confidence in each other, right? So that happened since 2008. That's just been whittled away. It's just public confidence. So yes, it's game over. We need to go into a new system. This system is done. It's done.
Guys, they know about the cycles. They know about those 100-year, 40-year cycles. So they're just, excuse my language, dick riding the cycle. They know that that currency has a shelf life of 100 years. This one has gone on for like 120 something years of the dollar. And probably I'm misquoting that, but anyways, the currency has a life cycle, and they know that the cycle was over with. And so that's why they are extracting as much as they can out of the system, extracting as much as they can. They got the pervasive sickness, right? So they got the pervasive sickness, and it brought the price of everything down, right? And I don't know what I can and cannot say on this podcast, right? But they got this pervasive sickness, and during the pandemic, right? It was very deflationary. Not only was it deflationary for the government to not have to pay out all these pension plans, but it was deflationary in terms of asset prices went down, and then those Illuminati, or I have to get into this another time, but the Illuminati and establishment, but those core group of people were able to buy up those assets cheap, on the cheap, guys. They know the system is ending, but they're trying to extract as much value out of it as they can and try to buy up as much assets as they can. And then once we are completely depleted, they're going to put us into CBDCs. And guys, I think CBDCs is fucking Satan. Okay, guys, this is the Digital Revolution podcast. Please like and subscribe if you like this information, and let's continue on with Lynette Zang. Thank you guys for bearing with me.
So what does it mean for our, because I always like to bring it home to the folks, like what it means for their money today.
Hyperinflation.
What does it mean? Like what happens to our money?
Hyperinflates away. There's no other option, or hyper deflates. That's the other option. You know, but whether you're looking at deflation or inflation, it's the same coin. It's just the opposite side. So if they can get us into the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, what they are saying is that, number one, they're going to present it like, hey, we will eliminate inflation. If you give us this control over that, there won't be any more inflation. No, there'll be deflation, because as they say, there are then no limits to how low they can push interest rates. And what does that do? But it eats your principal. So you're sitting there, you haven't been spending money because you're trying to save, but you're watching your principal go down, down, down. What are you likely to do? Go out and put it in anything that you think can hold its purchasing power value better.
Yeah, because as the dollar is becoming debased, we could potentially go into a trade and barter type of thing. So as the dollar loses its purchasing power, and as Lynette Zang is saying, that your principal is eroded, meaning that that principal is its value is worth less. We're going to find people like they're doing now. They're running into gold and silver. They're liquidating, and they're trying to get into any hard asset as they can. Guys, you know that Bill Gates bought up farmland, and I was talking in the last podcast. The next trade is going to be food. So guys, him buying up farmland should tell you something. The next issue is the next major thing that they're going to do, guys, I believe, is going to be an EMP strike, where we will not be able to communicate like this. We won't be able to communicate like we're communicating. We won't be able to get on your phone. There won't be no power for a time. The system could be down for a time to distract people in order to go into the CBDC. I believe that the power is going to go out. When, I don't know exactly, but maybe sometime soon. Don't quote me on this, but if it happens, guys, you heard it here first. You may not be able to get online. You may not be able to do anything. May not even be able to use your credit card, guys. Okay, so yeah. But yeah, Lynette is saying implosion of the system, no power left in the system, and hyperinflation. Guys, hyperinflation will eat this country up. It will demoralize, it will destabilize. People are already starting to lose their mind. You can imagine when we go into hyperinflation.
The currency. So that's hyper deflation.
You know, what do you make of when you hear, you know, like the Democrats came out saying, well, the mess we're in is linked back to the rollback that President Trump did of the Dodd-Frank Act. Is that just, I mean, what's your take on that?
It's true, but it goes back even further than that. It goes back to when Clinton eliminated the Glass-Steagall Act, and the Glass-Steagall Act was put in place in 1933 to separate risk-taking Wall Street banks from deposit-taking mom and pop banks. And so I think it was 96 when that was eliminated and allowed those two banking entities to merge. And I haven't heard one person, not in the Senate committees or in any of the government committees where central banks talk about separating those two entities. So they don't want to, because this is about the banks and the financial system, but also, you know, yeah, but in what Trump did was he took away oversight essentially from those mid-sized banks. So there are a lot of check boxes that they just no longer need to check. But even when they put Dodd-Frank in place in 2010, that was supposed to eliminate that proprietary trading, and it didn't, the Volcker rule. They dismantled the Volcker rule. So they took away oversight and they dismantled rules because, as they said, well, wow, we've had 6 years of experience and nothing has happened. So this is a good thing to do. But they never talk about the real issue, which is risk-taking banks using depositor monies to take those risks.
And guys, you can watch the full interview at the Daniela Camboni show. She's a wealth of information, but I don't want to go too long because, guys, I got Bill Holter just came out with a new interview. Guys, Bill Holter is the OG. Nobody can fuck with Lynette Zang. Guys, I equate them to like rappers, you know, like I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Notorious B.I.G. Here in New York City. He's an icon, obviously, the world out. But Biggie used to say about rappers, like nobody can fuck with that rapper. Nobody, just like how they do the rappers, like nobody can fuck with Lil Kim, nobody can fuck with B.I.G., nobody can fuck with Tupac, nobody can fuck with well, Nicki Minaj. You know, who can fuck with Nicki Minaj, right? But some of those rappers. But anyways, I digress. But and we'll talk about rap and we'll get into all this other interesting stuff later. But nobody can fuck with Lynette, and nobody can fuck with Peter Schiff, but especially nobody can fuck with Bill Holter. So guys, let's get into what Bill Holter is saying, guys. Let's see. Yes. Okay, guys. Oh, okay, let me share my screen. Guys, this is the Digital Revolution Podcast. It's your boy Jay. As you already know what time it is, please like and subscribe. And we're just going to dig in a little bit on usawatchdog.com and just review Bill Holter's interview with usawatchdog.com. Please go to usawatch.com, support all these people, and support my channel as well if you like some of the information that I'm reviewing. And we're going to try to come up with solutions, guys. We're going to try to be solution-based. And we have been going over the solutions. One of the solutions is, guys, that, listen, moving forward, once this collapse is over with and we start rebuilding with a boom in agriculture and the Aggie business, because there's going to be a major revolution in food. Guys, I think Bill Holter is going to mention it, that I heard and allegedly that what they're doing with the cattle is that they're putting the jabs in the cattle. They're putting the mRNA jab in the cattle, and we're eating this. But we'll get a little bit more into this later, but guys, revolution will not be televised. But let's go on with the OGs of finance.
We talked about this before the call. If you look at what's happened to the dollar over, say, the last 6 or 8 months on the dollar index, and remember the dollar index, it measures the dollar versus foreign currencies, not against real stuff, but other shitty currencies.
Yeah.
The dollar has declined from what was it, 112, 113. Now it's knocking on 101. And for the last, call it 15, a little over 15 months now, M2 money supply has contracted about 5%. And this is the first time since the 1930s where money supply actually contracted for any period of time. Now, how is it that the dollar is dropping in value versus other fiat currencies? The dollar is clearly dropping in value versus gold because we're now over $2,000 an ounce. And inflation is really not abating. How is it that inflation is not abating if there's less dollars outstanding by 5%? You should have actually seen a decline in prices over the last 6 to 12 months, and we're not seeing that. What you will see, in my opinion, is you're going to see a massive decline of asset pricing, and there's your deflation. That's what the result of lower money supply is going to be, is asset prices declining. And that's something that you and I have talked about for quite a long time, is that we would eventually see inflation of the things you need and deflation of the things you have. And here we are.
Have you looked at the
Guys, that has huge implications. Hear me out, guys. Inflation will eat away the morality of this country. People are just going to starve. People are going to lose their jobs. And that's going to create a vicious cycle of more people losing their jobs. It's going to put strain on people's relationships, on their love lives, on dating, on their children. Unbelievable. But I digress. Let's continue.
used cars? They say they've come down. No, they haven't. Have
No.
you seen the price of new cars? Here's the sticker price. You get $250 off. That's it. That's it. I mean, that's a real thing.
Yeah, there was actually a small decline, call it, I don't know, 3-5% drop in used car prices back in February. But March was, it turned up again. March was another strong month. I'm not too familiar with that market, but my guess is the amount of new car supply is not, it's not keeping up. And one important thing to look at is and this is all going to reverse, because if you look at the debt, the credit in the auto market, the amount of late pay and actual repossessions, that's beginning to increase dramatically. So within, I don't know, call it 2, 3, 4 months, you're probably going to see a real mess in the auto market where pricing collapses because the credit is starting to collapse.
You've already said that that's going to be a credit event. Yeah, you've always talked about. Before we go on, I want to talk about credit event, but hold on. So Saudi Arabia basically cut production because they want to put a floor under oil, and sure enough, they did, because they know they what they're signaling really is the economy's tanking, because they think, well, you don't need all this production, and we want to keep the price up, so we're going to cut our production and not sell it for $40 a barrel. We're going to cut production. That's what they're doing, right? And Biden's like, oh no, please, oh please, right? I mean, they're cutting. The Saudis are signaling the economy is tanking. Is that right?
Yes, but you have to look at who is Saudi Arabia's new business partner. It's Russia. And Russian oil is roughly $20 to $25 cheaper than West Texas and Brent. So at $80 or $85 oil, you're talking about $55 to $60 Russian oil. Now, go back, what was it, 6 months or a year, probably a year ago now, when the sanctions first came on, and the sanctions are allowing for the West to purchase Russian oil at $60 or below. So now this move by Saudi Arabia, what's this going to do? Once we get to 85, 90, 100 plus dollars per barrel, you're going to have Western nations breaking the sanctions.
Guys, hold on. Damn, wait a minute. Well, oil right now, WTI, we went over that ETF, $80 of oil, right? But they're talking about $100. Guys, if $100, you won't be able to drive to work. Already, my baby sister was bitching and complaining how expensive how the gas was. And wow, our consumers going to handle that. Definitely they're going to be bitching and complaining with them oil prices. You won't be able to drive to work because, one, you're getting paid. First of all, you're getting paid nothing, right? Most of the average American is getting paid $50,000 or less. And even if you're getting paid $100,000, well, now your currency is being debased, so you're getting paid nothing, and now your gas prices is going up. Thanks to the administration, thanks to this current administration. But let's continue on, guys.
You already had Japan last Thursday or Friday up the amount that they're taking from Russia, and I believe that was over $60 a barrel. So Japan needed a special exemption in order to buy that oil from Russia, and they got it. Now, with what's happened with what Saudi Arabia has done, it's going to force the hand of the United States with the sanctions. What are they going to do? Raise the price to 70, raise it to 80? Who knows? But the sanctions are going to be busted, is what it looks like to me.
Which I thought was, from the very beginning, I said, this is going to backfire. These are going to backfire.
Right.
And sure enough, backfire. Oh, we don't want the SWIFT system anymore. We're going to have our own deal.
Well, Greg, right, and they do. But Greg, understand that man trying to impose pricing always backfires. Ultimately, Mother Nature always takes over. And that's where this reset is going to take us, is Mother Nature is going to take over, and the dollar is not going to be accepted worldwide. And that's a problem for the United States, because we no longer make everything that we can. We don't even come close to to making the things that we consume.
Guys, we talked about that. We talked about how China makes 70% of everything that we need. So I think as we see the collapse happening again, the area of opportunity is going to be, guys, if you can grow something, if you can make something, we might even see, what are those things called? 3D printing. We might see a lot of people investing in 3D printing, buying 3D printers, and starting a business with 3D printing, making stuff. So some type of a manufacturing coming back here, like a bunch of people just randomly making parts for things and selling the parts as like private contractors, as a way to get manufacturing back after the collapse. So we're going to see that sort of manufacturing coming back. We're going to see a boom in agriculture, right? We're going to possibly see, and these are some of the solutions, we're possibly going to see sound money where we go with the US Treasury, where the money is issued from the US Treasury and not from a private, centralized system, because that centralized system, guys, is moving out the way and a whole new one is coming in. But for that interim, they're going to try to push the CBDCs. So, even though things are looking bad, there's gonna be a lot of good things. So a lot of these jobs in the United States, I was explaining, are like useless. Like people go to work and what do? They don't make nothing. They don't create anything. Yeah, maybe it's services, but I don't know. I can't necessarily think of a job like, well, I don't want to name a job and then, it's somebody's job and that would be disrespectful. But, a lot of the jobs, we don't do anything. I mean, like, okay, real estate is a great profession or whatever. You can make a lot of money in it. However, we don't make anything. We don't do anything. Essentially the stuff that we're absolutely going to need. So we're going to see, as a result of the decline and the de-dollarization, America is full of resources, but in a lot of instances, the warlords want to go in those other countries and rape and pillage those other countries. That core group wants to collateralize those nations and put those nations in debt and steal the wealth from those people. And hold on 1 second. But yeah, again, it's your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution Podcast. And guys, we're going over Bill Holter, guys.
Afford everything. And when foreigners say, well, we want a lot more dollars, or we're not even going to accept dollars, where's that going to leave the United States? Without a product, is where it's going to leave them.
Field of Greens is
Okay,
back.
so
Real organic super.
Gonna skip that and go back here
Today. So are they losing control of their suppression of metals in the COMEX and LBMA? Is this a sign they're losing control of these big uplifts in price? This is not what they want.
Well, you can look at it a couple ways. You can look at it as they're losing control, or you can look at it as the plug is actually being pulled and they're going to let gold float to wherever it is. Because if the control is slipping, if you see the price, too much demand, and that's what they're saying is too much demand of the real metal. And of course, they can flood the market with paper, backed by paper, not backed by gold or silver. So if they're feeling that the demand is overwhelming the supply, if you were short, like JP Morgan, Goldman, go down the whole list of the big derivatives players. If you feel that demand on the physical side and you're short, what would you do? You try to close your shorts out and just let it go. You don't want to stand in front of a freight train. And that's where we are now. Freight train's coming.
So in other words, trying to so if they try to stop it, they'll get into a failure to deliver faster than if they just go, all right, whatever. Right. That makes sense.
And Greg, this is something I want to put.
But guys, you can look at the full interview at usawatchdog.com. This is one of my favorite independent journalists. Guys, we have to support independent journalism. The corporate news media is basura, which means garbage in Spanish. Guys, I'm not going to go over the full interview, but yeah, just to recap, guys. Yeah, what Bill Holter is saying is, the dollar declining. Here, let me get out of here. The dollar declining, as we saw on the charts, gold supporting above that 1900 support level, and still at $2,000. Remember, whether you believe in the conspiracy theories or not, guys, we need to be looking at the price of gold because, and just like we look at the S&P 500, these are huge major indicators of the health and of the fragility of the system. A rising price of gold is an indication of a failing government, of a failing currency. When gold rises, that means people are getting out of dollars and people don't trust their government. The government is collapsing. People don't trust their currency. Bill Holter is saying assets could decline. As the debt implodes, so do the assets decline. So it's sort of like disinflation, like Jim Rickards has educated us on. So in disinflation, certain prices go up, commodities go up, but then certain assets go down. So it's sort of like certain things that you need go up and the assets that you have and hold go down. Yeah, he's talking about Saudi Arabia and Russia linking up, $80 oil right now, but that the price of oil can go up and that we're going to be having these high consumer prices and high inflation. And guys, that's no good at all. I just wanted to end it on this, guys, which was what I was originally saying before, that we need to support each other. We need to love up on each other. We need to bring love back, I think, as the collapse happens. And I think I will. There's so many different things to talk about, so many topics to cover, but I think love should be one of the topics that we cover and modern day relationships, because with inflation, we're going to see those relationships be tested and pulled apart. And as I was explaining before, love is sacred, guys. When people love each other, when a mother loves her child, when a father loves their child, when there are lovers that love each other and want to be together, that love is sacred. But however, the things that are happening on this planet Earth is deinstitutionalizing that very institution of love and of relationships, and of the most important institution is family. Narcissism is breaking it up. That core group of people is breaking it up. But guys, just like one of my friends said, we can't always blame that core group of people. Yes, they're imposing their will on us, but we need to educate ourselves as much as we can, but we need to look inside of ourselves. And I know, guys, that's hard. So maybe one of the podcasts we could do is love and self-love. Okay, please like and subscribe. I'm praying for this country. I'm praying for the world, not just the United States, because guys, we're all in this together. Of course, I want to see my neighbors do good. Of course, if everybody on the planet can you imagine if everybody on the planet was doing good? If we all got together and was like, okay, we can figure this out. And if somebody don't like it and they want to hate, guys, you can hate over there. Just hate over there. That's as simple as that. But guys, where we're going on this planet in the tribulation period, we have no choice but to come together. So we need to love up on each other. And guys, we need to try. But most importantly, you need to love yourself. Okay, I'll see you on the other side. God bless and have a good night.